Parshas B'shalach. We see the Mechama with Amalek. Pasuk tells us at the end of the Sedra, "V'yovu Amalek v'ilochem en Yisrael b'Refidim." Amalek came and they made war with Klal Yisrael and Refidim. So Moshe Rabbeinu commissioned Yoshua to lead the war. Pasuk tells us, "V'yachlu Yoshua as Amalek v'asamal l'fi chorev." He defeated them. V'yomer Hashem Moshe ksov zos l'ikorim b'sefer. You should write this down. This war, the story. First indication the Rebbeinu Shalom wants Amalek to be destroyed. As Rashi says, Amalek was the first one to come to attack Klal Yisrael. So the mashal that's brought at the end of Parshas Kiseitze, when we actually have the Parshas Zocher es asher asah l'chol Amalek. So Pasuk says, "Asher korcha b'derech," that they came upon you in a happenstance way on the road, and they pulled away all the weak ones from you. V'ta'if, you were tired, you were exhausted. V'yogei, l'yolakim, and they, Amalek, did not fear Hashem. So a number of different drushes on this lashon, "Asher korcha b'derech." The third one Rashi brings is lashon davar acher. What is korcha b'derech? Lashon kor v'chaim. It's the lashon of being cold and hot. They took the heat that you came out of Mitzrayim with, and they cooled it off. Everyone was afraid to fight with you. Amalek came; they were the first ones. They opened up the doors for others. It's like an ambati. It's like a bath. It's too steaming hot, it's boiling, no one can go inside. Even though he's going to be burnt, he's willing to do it. So Pashit, Amalek is being Meiser Nefesh to destroy Klal Yisrael, even though they can't do it themselves. But now it's Shayach to fight Klal Yisrael. Because of that, Pashtus, because of that degree of sinner for Klal Yisrael, who is the representative of the Rebbeinu Shalom in this world. So there the Rebbeinu Shalom says more. He says, not just I want it to be written down, but Ki emcha zecha Amalek, I want their memory to be destroyed forever. Now, why is that? So Rashi brings over here, Taisus brings the beginning of brachas as well, that this decision for Hashem to do it, Hashem, the pasuk says that V'yomer ki yad al case ka milchama l'Hashem b'Amalek b'dor b'dor. What is case ka? So Rashi points out the case ka is not lashon kisei in a full. It's two different words. Case ka. It's not mole. Yodesh Hakadosh Baruch Hu harem l'shav b'kiso. He in his kiso he swore lioslam l'chamas eva Amalek alamis. It's going to be forever. Umbahu case v'lo kisei. Why does it say case and not kisei? So Kodesh Baruch Hu says his name is not going to be full. There's not going to be a full manifestation, realization of Kodesh Baruch Hu in this world until Amalek is destroyed. Now, we have to understand what Amalek did. Amalek was not ostensibly fighting a Kodesh Baruch Hu. They were ostensibly fighting Klal Yisrael. And Klal Yisrael suffered the nezik, whatever nezik it was that Amalek did, and that went ahead and it impacted the Kodesh Baruch Hu. But it wasn't a direct fight against Hashem. So therefore we have to understand that whatever happened to Klal Yisrael is going to be the key to understand what Amalek is all about and why Amalek's memory, any mention, any idea of Amalek has to be obliterated. Let's understand what Amalek did to Klal Yisrael. So there's a Gemara in Chulin, the Gemara Kufla Mites Amud Beis. The Gemara says, it says by Haman, Esther, Mordechai, Minotaur. What's the remiz to the key people in the story of Purim? What's the remiz of Minotaur? So on Haman, the Gemara says Menai and Haman. So Haman, Minotaur, Menai. Where do we see Haman in the Torah? Hamina Eitz Adas. What's the pshat that Haman is Eitz Adas? So as we know, the gematria of Amalek is Safek 240, and the Eitz Adas is the moment when Safek came into the world. There was a clarity of the Rebbeinu Shalom. There was no thought to consider to do the Ratzon Hashem, not do the Ratzon Hashem. Once Adam and Chava ate from the Eitz Das, being Tov L'Ra, so there already became a Shiloh with Tov L'Ra. Suffolk entered the world. Suffolk was brought with Eitz Das. Zog the Gemara. Where do you see the Makar of Haman? The Makar of Haman is in that Suffolk that Adam and Rishon brought into the world through the Eitz Das. That's what Amalek brought. He brought Suffolk. How did he bring Suffolk? So the Shah is like this. We see that right before Amalek came, Klal Yisrael was thirsty. They had no water. They used to call Yisrael b'nei Yisrael midbar silim asem al pi Hashem yachad b'fidim ve'ein mayim lishtos ha'am. They had no water. V'yirav ha'am Moshe v'yomer tnu lanu mayim. Give us water, v'nishta, we need a drink. V'yomer Moshe b'torivu imari b'atinos Hashem. What are you doing? What are you coming to fight against me? What are you coming to test Hashem? V'yimsu shama ha'am l'mayim v'yelim ha'am al Moshe v'yomer lamazel yisonu mi-Mitzrayim. Not just we drink water. Why in the world were we taken out of Mitzrayim in the first place? Lo ha'am yisosi. To kill me. There's Bonai, there's Mikdam, it's Somet. You came to kill us. This is first degree murder. You brought us to the Midbar. They're going to kill me. So the Rebbeinu Shalom gave him water. Moshe hit the rock, gave him water. And then the Rebbeinu Shalom says, after this whole mice, V'yikra Shem Amokim Masim Riva, Riv B'nei Yisrael, Al Nasosim As Hashem, Leimor Hayesh Hashem B'kibeinu Einayim. Rebbeinu Shalom said, Hayesh, they said, Hayesh B'kibeinu Einayim. They questioned whether Rebbeinu Shalom was there. There was a suffix. There was a suffix on Klal Yisrael, on behalf of Klal Yisrael. Is the Rebbeinu Shalom still with us or not? Hayesh Hashem B'kibeinu Einayim. So you see from this and that Chazal say over here, Somech Parsha Zula Mikra Zeh, that this whole parsha of Amalek is right next to the parsha of that they were thirsty, they asked for water, and Hashem Yeshem V'kenu B'ayin. I'm always here. This is what brought a Chayechem. This is what brought Amalek. What brought Amalek was what? Was the suffix you had if I'm here. So you see from this mashal that the pshat is not that Amalek brought suffix to Klal Yisrael, but fakir, the opposite. Klal Yisrael's suffix is what brought Amalek, and that's the mashal continues. Shakel noshech esem v'teirani mashal adam shekiva b'no al kseifo v'yotzel l'derech. Person is carrying his son on his shoulder, and he goes out. Hoya osa ben roya chevetz omer. He says, Tati, I see something. Abba tol chevetz zeveteli. Give me that thing on the ground over there. Who knows in love? V'chein hayir shlish, shnei v'shlishis, over and over again. Pago adam echad. The person comes up. He says, Amalo osa ben. He says, Abba, see my Tati? Amalo avich. Einach yodei heichen, and you don't know where I am. Yishlich me'elav ba kelev v'noshcha. The suffix of Klal Yisrael was Garam Amalek, not for Karen. So we're going to have to understand the Eitz Das differently. It wasn't just the Eitz Das brought suffix into the world. It's the suffix of Adam Rishon that brought the whole problem of the Eitz Das. But it goes deeper. It's deeper than suffix. There's a bigger problem. You look at the Mishnah in Rosh Hashanah. The Mishnah darshans the pasuk when they were fighting the war. So the pasuk says, "V'haya kasher yarim Moshe yadav v'gavi Yisrael." That when Moshe lifted up his hands, Klal Yisrael was winning. Kasher yaniach yado, when he lifted his hands, Gavra Amalek. Zol told Moshe's hands. Frag the Mishnah on Chavtes. V'haya kasher yarim Moshe yadav shel Yisrael v'chi yadav shel Moshe osim milchama oshovis milchama. He's telling Moshe Rabbeinu his hands going up and down. As long as Klal Yisrael was gazing above, and they enslaved their hearts to their Father in heaven, then they would win. But the Lashon Chazal is very interesting over here. The Pashup shot in the Mishnah is that when they were looking up, the Pasuk is telling us when they were looking up, they had Amunah. Hashem's going to take care of them. And they weren't looking up, they didn't have Amunah. But there's more here. Mistakli klapi maila. Mistakli doesn't mean to look. It means to gaze. Like a staklis b'noshim. That's awesome. Doesn't mean you can't look at a woman. It means you can't gaze at a woman. You can't fix your sight on a woman. That's a stakli b'shamayim. Or mishtadul lim b'shamayim. What's mishtadul lim? They had to enslave their house to Hashem. Meaning they had to make a connection. It's more than just, oh, Hashem's taka there and he's going to take care of me now. It's that I'm connected to Hashem. I'm connected to Rebbeinu Shalom. And that's what the Mishnah is telling us. The Mishnah is telling us that when they had that connection to the Rebbeinu Shalom, then they won. When they lost the connection, then they weren't winning. Now, what's the pshat over here? Why is this a makam din for the connection to the Rebbeinu Shalom? So let's think about Amalek for a minute. Klal Yisrael had 10 months worth of makkahs. And every makkah wasn't just another step along the way to destroy Mitzrayim, but it was another these galus of the Rebbeinu Shalom of the world that he's in total control. Darga after darga after darga. After that, you have a slave nation. No one ever escaped Mitzrayim. 3 million people or so go out of Mitzrayim. Yad Ramah, right? And then you should wait till the day. You're going to walk out. Kriyas Yamsuf. The Rebbeinu Shalom is owing over and over and over again, not only that he controls everything, but that his love for Klal Yisrael is endless. He'll do anything for them. Now, if you're sitting in the world, and you look at, you see it in the Psukim, right? Everybody got scared. Everybody was afraid. All the other nations, they were blown away by Kriyas Yamsuf. Here comes Amalek. Amalek says, no, not us. We're going to fight. Who are you going to fight? The Rebbeinu Shalom shows he can do anything in the world. He has the Yechilis. He shows he loves them more than anything in the world. He'll do anything for them. Are you insane? You're kamikaze pilots. You're a nation full of suicide belts. You're crazy people. So here they come to Klal Yisrael. Crazy people, insane. And they say to Klal Yisrael, we're going to fight you. You're going to fight us. we just experienced over a year worth of nisim. And we're going to fight you. Klal Yisrael has a question now. Someone's crazy here. Either they're crazy, or maybe it's not so push. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm not connected anymore. They were ma'or suffik in Klal Yisrael. How were they ma'or suffik? But the mere fact that they showed up to fight, that was. Why did they come? They were ma'or suffik. We see from the mashal that Rashi brings over here, that before Amalek came, there was the problem. Amalek came as a result, meaning what? Meaning the suffix existed before they came. Klal Yisrael, who went through this amazing year, a more amazing year than anybody can imagine, and yet they still could say, Yesh v'keinu ayin. After all this, meaning that everything we did over here, it didn't penetrate enough. Because if you can look at Amalek and say, oy vey, you're gonna go ahead and say, we got a problem over here. We have to reconnect ourselves. What do you mean reconnect yourselves? That means you weren't connected at this moment before you reconnected yourself. If you have to do that, then you, Klal, have a problem. This is the whole makor of B'chias Amalek, of Milchemes Amalek, B'chias Amalek, is to be mafkiya, to be able to destroy inside of us any suffix that the Rebbeinu Shalom is there, which only comes not just because I know he's there, but I mamish feel connected. And that was the problem of the Eitz Hadas. The problem of the Eitz Hadas is how could Adam Rishon have whatever the cheshbon is, and the Svarim go through all the cheshbon is right on Rishon now. Whatever the cheshbon is, but it means there's some disconnect at some point that you consider it. So Zot Chazal, Hamim Mina Eitz, right? Hamim Mina Torah Minayin, Hamina Eitz. This is the makor, the suffix of the Eitz Hadas that the Adam Rishon could eat from the Eitz Hadas, could consider it. That disconnect that Adam Rishon had, that's the makor of Amalek. Amalek is only the external manifestation of what's going on inside. Because when Klal is faced with Amalek, they have two choices. Either they can say, Taka, look what's going on outside. We say, Nayim, we see that they showed up to fight us. They can say, what? It doesn't matter what happens. If I'm a Zak connected to Rebbeinu Shalom, it doesn't matter what's happening outside. I'm going to have to deal with it. But it doesn't make a difference. Because my connection as Azeh is so fight, is so strong, that Rebbeinu Shalom can throw anything at me. And the Rebbeinu Shalom was really exposing he was exposing the suffix that existed before that moment, and that was the whole Vart Amalek. So now the Rebbeinu Shalom, Mechias Amalek, is a Vart of that nation, the external problem. But it's something much deeper than that. It's the destruction of the suffix inside of me. Because if there's no suffix inside of me, if I'm taka connected, if I'm mamish mistaklu maila, and mishabnu neshamayim, and that's where I'm holding on, azak kesher, azak chibut Rebbeinu Shalom, Amalek has no.